What's happening, everybody? Sorry for the slight pause and delay in the show, but I wanted to check something before I got started. But anyway, let me start tonight's show off with thanking our loyal and very faithful sponsors of this show. First up tonight, we have our good friends over at Hell Speed Shop, hellspeedshop.com. Hell Speed Shop on all of the social media platforms. You need a flannel shirts. I know there's a lot out there to choose from. Believe you me, I've tried a lot of them, and the best by far, hands down, are hellspeedshop.com flannels. They are the best. What's up, Uncle Bruno? Um, I have like 20 or 25 of them, and I love them. Keep them in solid rotation. I wear them all year around. You have to get over to hellspeedshop.com and order you some up. You will not be disappointed. Next up, our good friends over at Jade Affiliated, jadeaf.com, Jade Affiliated on all the social media platforms. Straightforward, badass custom motorcycle wheels. They are working on a lot of new parts and parts lines they're coming out with. They're actually working on a part for me, to be honest with you guys. I am running their Walter White, touch of custom to it, but you've got to get over to jadeaf.com and order you up some wheels. You've heard of the other guys. Now you need to go to the best, jadeaf.com. Next up, American Drag Seats, americandragseats.com. You need a custom motorcycle seat. You need it recovered. You need a pan. You can send me a pan. We'll foam it. We'll cover it. You need a chopper seat. You need bobber seats. You need leather tooling, inlays, diamonds, stitching. Doesn't matter. We do it all. americandragseats.com and American Drag Seats on all of your social media platforms. Next up, our good friends over at Urban Rides Magazine, urbanridesmagazine.com. They're out and about at a rally right now. Mr. Daniel Roby is always your go-to guy. You got to go follow him. Check him out at urbanridesmagazine.com, Urban Rides Magazine on all the social media platforms. Check them out. They will keep you up to date on everything motorcycle. And last, but definitely not least, our good friends over at hopkins-design.com. Plain and simple, you need a website. Hopkins-design is where you need to go. You need a logo, you need some branding material, you need some photos, some videos. Earl Hopkins is the best, and he is very reasonably priced. You can even keep him on retainer to do your stuff on a regular. But anyway, get over there to hopkins-design.com. What's up, everybody? Uncle Bruno, Robert Davis, Jason Dempsey. I love it that you guys are actually starting to put in there where you're watching from. That helps me keep up. Man, tonight's show is going to be a very kind of weird show because we've discussed so many times over the last 7 years, 7.5 years about business, how to run a business, how to do your money, handle your money, all those things. But one thing we've never discussed to date is the toll that it will take on you running a business. The things you have to go through, the hurdles you have to jump through, all the stuff you do as a business owner. And it's not just the motorcycle game. It's everything. It's any kind of business you get in. You're going to have these, what I call the highs and the lows of business. The rainy days, you're going to have the days you're just like so blessed and so into you can't keep up with all the work you've got. What's up, Marcia? Mr. Earl Hopkins is watching. Uncle Bruno, Tim McLaughlin's in the house. Mr. Garage Builder Extraordinaire, owner of 42wheels.com. But anyway, back to what I was talking about was the ups and downs of owning your own business, being self-employed. What's up, Val? It's very taxing at times, not to mention the fact that you love what you do. You're doing it because you had the passion. Um, but if you have an investor, if you're starting with no money, because I believe you me, I've started two businesses with $0, $0. I've also started two businesses with over $100,000 of my own money to put into it. Um, you you have these days where you question your decisions. You question, am I doing the right thing? Am I did I make a mistake by spending that money? Did I make a mistake by investing in all this equipment and tooling and whatever you need for your business? Believe me, people, I know. I've been there. I have been self-employed gainfully. And when I mean gainfully, I have to do a tax return every single year. I have been self-employed since 1997. Do the math. That's 28 years I've been doing this. And every single year, I have had to do a tax return and either pay or got a little bit of money back. A couple of years, I broke dead even. But my point is that I've successfully been able to maintain these businesses for 28 years. Now, the reason I tell you that is not to boast because I'm not a millionaire. I'm not living high on the hog. I struggle every day, every single day with my businesses. One business may be kicking ass and taking names and doing great, but the other business is just falling apart. It's flopping. Then the next month, that flopping business is doing great, making money. We're staying busy, but the other business is, hurting. What's up, Mr. Robert? How you doing, brother? But what I've come to realize in business is, depending on the type of business that you do, if you don't know how you're going to make the money, what it costs to make the money, because there's always a cost to making money, your time frames, getting good sleep at night, eating good, going into your day with an open mind that you're going to do your best, even on your days that you don't have anything to do, there's no work, there's always something that needs to be done. In my case, if I have zero work to do, there's nothing on the books for any of my businesses, I clean the shit out of my shop. I reorganize. I put things up. I clean the tools. I sweep the shop. I take the trash out. I get rid of, all the scrap metals. There's always something to do when you own a business. But I also know that people get into situations with businesses, and I could give you a couple of different scenarios of people that I know that have gotten into business and either gotten into business with a partner or they've gotten into business with, I don't want to say a business partner, but they're doing business with a company that's partnering with them saying, hey, we're going to use your business exclusively. Here's how we're going to do it, this, that, and the other. So if you have an investor, you owe them money because they paid the capital up front, and it's going to suck. It's going to suck bad. Every, joint venture was made in hell. I do not believe in partnerships. I don't believe in, two people owning and operating a business. I don't believe in it because somebody's going to feel like they're doing more work than the other one, and somebody's going to feel like they're getting screwed. It's the way it is. I know there are businesses out there where there's multiple owners and things of that nature. I get it. I get it. That's fine. This is my opinion. My opinion. Okay. The opinion for me, I would not have a partner. I would not have an investor. And I take that back. I would have an investor. But if I had an investor, I would outline with a fine tooth comb, cross every T, dot every I of exactly what's going to happen with the investment money and how it will be paid back. Because your businesses are going to have good and bad times. And you don't want to get into a basically tote the note type situation where you're on the hook every single month for a payment. It's very hard. Man, I sit here and I tell you people, man, owning your own business is very, very hard. There are people out there that have Cinderella stories that have just made it, and man, they've hit a pot of gold with it. But even those people, they still have their hills and their valleys. So what do you do when you're having a bad time? when you're questioning all of your decisions, when you're just, it seems like everything you touch is screwed up, everything you got going on just is not working. What do you do then? What I do when those situations get there is I typically call my friends and bellyache and piss, bitch, and moan. But what I really, really do, and I do it at night when I go to bed, and I do it every single night. First thing I do is say thank you for my health. Second thing is I ask for forgiveness of all my sins for that day, known and unknown. Third thing, I ask to bless my family and my friends. And when I say my family and my friends, I mean every single person that's watching right now. I pray for you every night. But then I ask God, God, when I wake up in the morning, if you choose to wake me up in the morning, put me where I need to be mentally, emotionally, and physically to have the best day that I can have. Now I do that. I pray. 99% of the time when I wake up the next morning, I'm clear headed. I've got my get ready to go to work. And let me be clear, people, I am a creature of habit. I don't like things to be off kilter, fly by the seat of your pants to a degree. When I say I'm a creature of habit, if it's Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, I am up 7 a.m. I brush my teeth, get ready, have breakfast with my son, which he eats. I don't. My wife, she usually gets a little snack or something. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we go to the gym, and then I come straight home and get to work. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I get up, same routine, but I take my son to school, come right back home, and get to work. I don't like it when there's variance to those days. I don't like it when something else starts over and I can't do what my routine is. It gets me off. It gets me off a little bit. Another thing in my older age now, fixing to be 56, I've started writing down what do I want to accomplish that day. So if I've got 5 or 6 motorcycle seats and I've got some metal fabrication to do, and let's just say I've got a bunch of different fires or irons in the fire, I actually list first come, first serve, and I knock out. I'm going to do this seat today. I'm going to pour the foam. I'm going to lay the fiberglass. I'm going to do the cover, whatever that may be. I'm going to do everything I can to this seat today. When I'm done with that seat, then I'm going to move over to this bike and I'm going to work on a little bit of the metal fabrication to get this portion done. That way, every day I'm making a progress. I'm moving in a forward motion. I'm not, completing everything I want, but you got to remember, if you have a day and you're like, man, I've got so much to do, I feel overwhelmed, man, don't look at the big picture. Look at the small little chunks you have and just knock off the little pieces. And every day you're knocking stuff off, man, in 1 week, you're not even going to believe how much work you've gotten completed by simply just making a list of what you need to get done on a daily basis. I'm not talking about, hey, I want to get this done on Monday. I want to get this on Tuesday, this on Wednesday, XYZ. I'm talking, hey, tomorrow's Monday. Between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., I want to get this done. And that's where you stop. And you get that work done. And then when you go to get ready to go to bed, or you're sitting down eating dinner, or you're just relaxing that evening, then you write down what you want to do the next day. And you do it on a daily, an 8-hour time frame of what you want to get done. Now, that the reason I'm saying this is all for business owners is because business owners, most all the business owners I know are mom and pop shops, less than 10 employee shops. So once you get to a certain level, then you have to have management that has to run this, that, or the other, because your company's going to be too big. And I honestly believe once you hit, 5 to 10 employees, it's too big. Now you have to have management. Now you have to have people in places to help you decide what needs to happen, what needs to get done, when it needs to get done by, billing, all these different things that you have to get done. So the reason I'm telling you this is because it's so easy to get into a funk, or to get into a depressive state, or to get in I just don't have any motivation. I just can't get in. I can't seem to get out of my own way. That's when, in my opinion, prayer at night, writing a list of what you want to accomplish the next day in the 8-hour day or whatever it is, and you just do it in 24-hour segments, and that's all you do. You don't worry about everything else that's in the spectrum of stuff you've got to do. You worry about 8 hours of a work day at a time, or some people work 10 hours a day, some people work 12. But I know for a fact when you do that, everything starts running smoother. And then, like I said, when you don't have anything to do, clean your shop, do your paperwork, make sales calls, do some advertising calls, um, things of that nature, because life can get, I'm going to tell you right now, life can get extremely overwhelming if you let it. I always make a list every night of what needs to be done the next day. Amen, brother. That's exactly right. The reason I say all this is because I've been talking to a couple of people over the last couple of weeks, and man, there are some really, really good conversations being had. Companies are doing good. They're getting more work in than they know what to do with. They've got plans of expansion and growth, possibly hiring employees, and that's great. Awesome. I love hearing people succeeding and moving forward. I've also had some conversations about people contemplating shutting their shops down, getting out of the whatever the industry is that they are in, and doing something else with their time. It's just really hard for me to how do you give up on a dream? But sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to be I appreciate you, Jeremy. Thank you. That makes me feel good, man. Thank you. Uh, but sometimes, man, I forgot my train of thought. I forgot what I was saying, people. Anyway, I'll just pick up if I'll remember what I said a minute ago. I know that when you're thinking about giving up on a dream, something that you've done, something that you want to do, sometimes that's not giving up on the dreams. Sometimes that's actually what I call shifting gears. You've been going at this speed with this job for so long. Now you're going to shift gears to get further along in the race, to get further along in what you're wanting to ultimately do or accomplish. Um, for those that don't know, I own American Drag Seats. We do custom motorcycle seats, all that kind of upholstery, stuff like that. I also own Orion Metalworks, where we do custom metal fabrication, industrial, commercial, residential. And then my son also owns Legacy Bike Works, and he builds custom bikes, does audio, fiberglass work, all those things. So we have a lot of things going on that kind of bleed into each other, but can all be standalone companies on their own. Um, we did that on purpose because certain things have happened in my life over the last year and a half, almost 2 years. I will let everybody in after December 14th of this year. I will have an hour-long show. It may be a 10-minute long show or an hour-long show. I will let everybody in on what has happened to me over the last year and a half, or at that point, 2 years. But if you're doing something and it's working and it's just not producing everything you need, maybe you need to shift gears, try something else that could, accompany that, to give you the freedom to be able to focus more on it without the stress of needing it for income. Talking to certain businesses and certain business owners, you hear things, and I mean, it's kind of sad to me, but I'm not in their shoes when you hear somebody say, "Hey, we're going to shut down. We're not going to do this anymore. I'm going to go get me a day job. This just is not working the way that I thought it was going to work." Hey, man, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But before you shut the business down, scale back a little bit. Scale back. Go get you a part-time job to help with the financial side, so you can actually keep your business going and give it time, give it whatever it's going to need. He said, I'm not late this time. Yeah, you're actually 20 minutes late. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So I know for a fact that over the last 28 years, I've had so many conversations with people, and everybody needs to understand. Even though I've been doing motorcycle seats since 2003, I haven't been involved with the building and to the depth of the industry that I am now, but maybe for the last 10, 15 years. Before that, what's up, Kelly? Before that, I was a mechanic for Toyota. I was a mechanic for Toyota. I was ASE certified mechanic for Toyota Motor Corporation. And I did that for over 10 years. And then when I got out of that, I started my car wash, and that was a whole thing. And I did that for 10 years. And in between those things, I started the custom motorcycle seat shop. And then within that, then we started doing, working in the chemical plants and doing the custom metal fabrication and that whole thing. And then we opened up the bike shop, and we've been doing that for a little over 2 years now. And it's just one of those things. It's ever growing evolution of things to make money. But it's not always to make money. A lot of these things, like the motorcycle seats and the building the bikes and the audio work and all those are fun things. Hey, I sent you the link as soon as Kevin started. Yeah, right. um you got to send Brian that stuff, because if not, man, he might get so busy he forgets about the show. But all of these things were done because I was intrigued by them. I enjoyed them. I liked it. You know what I mean? The Being a mechanic, well, I was just good at turning wrenches, so I did that. And then, you get into doing car washing and detailing, and then it on its own, it's got its own evolution of paintless dent removal, scratch repair, upholstery repair. Then it turns into doing motorcycle seats and all those things. So everything I've done up to this point has been evolution. Stop lying. None of it's fun anymore. Well, Brian, so yes, so you're gonna have to rewind back to 9 o'clock and watch everything I just said up to this point, because for those that don't know, everybody does know, me and Brian talk all the time. So that's that's what I was talking about a minute ago, is when you get to a point that it's becoming hard, and you're struggling mentally, you're struggling financially, you're struggling emotionally. You get a circle of friends, and they don't have to be in the industry that you're in. They don't have to have anything to do with what you do, but you talk to your friends and you brainstorm and you think and you work up ideas. Because I'll tell you, I've got friends that are doctors, I've got friends that are lawyers, I've got friends that work in convenience stores, retail, that own their own comic book stores, that paint shops, other bike builders, fabrication shop, multi-million dollar corporations. I've got friends in everything. I know when things get rough and my mind starts playing tricks on me and I start getting down on myself, I start calling people and I start talking. And sometimes when I talk, I put a lot of information out there, and I'm not putting the information out there to get sympathy. I'm not putting the information out there to get them to tell me what I'm doing wrong or what I need to do or how I need to change it. What I'm doing is putting the information out there to see how they think. What would they do in these situations? How would they handle it in these situations? And you'd be amazed that, like, one of my closest friends owns, man, he owns some very, very large businesses with, you know, 50, 75, 100 employees. And I just talk to him as a friend. And when I talk to him, it's not always about business. Sometimes we're talking about race cars. Sometimes we're talking about machining equipment. Sometimes we're talking about custom motorcycles. Sometimes we're talking about hunting. But having these conversations with people, you start thinking, and the juices start flowing, and you start thinking differently because you're getting out of your own headspace and you're getting into, oh, okay, I understand. Now, if I would have made a left hand turn that day, I would not have ended up where I was at. basically, if I'd have done this job just a little bit differently or looked at it a little bit differently, I could have ended up over here instead of over there. So having people that you can talk to, whether they're business owners, whether they're childhood friends, whether they're brand new friends, just having a network of people that you can actually just talk to. You can bounce ideas back and forth. You can discuss life. You would be surprised at what it's going to do to your mental capacity and your mental state of mind. It opens up doors. You know, one of my most favorite quotes in the world was from the movie The Crow. And he said, "It can't rain forever." And that's the actual truth. The truth is it can't be sunny forever either. You need the rain to make you appreciate the sun, and you need the sun to make you appreciate the rain. So you need the good to make you appreciate the bad, and you need the bad to make you appreciate the good. And if I have to explain that to you, you haven't been paying attention. You need the good and the bad in every situation to learn from, to grow from, to move forward from. If you're just sitting still like a bump on a log, man, you're going to grow moss, and we all know how that turns out. But don't ever think either that you're too good to do something, because I'll tell you real quick before I go. I was talking to Cade earlier today, my 12-year-old, and I told him, "All right, you're 12. It's time for you to start mowing the yard. It's time for you to start doing this." And his very first words of a reply were, "How much are you going to pay me?" Now, for those of you that know me pretty well, know I don't mow my yard because it's too cheap to pay somebody to mow the yard for me, because they come in for $40 and they have it done in 20 minutes because they have the proper equipment to get the job done. So Cade asked me, he goes, "Well, what are you going to pay me?" And I said, "Hey, look, I pay the yard guy $40 is what I paid them, but they mow the yard, they edge the yard, and then they bag up the trimmings. So you're going to do all that. I'll pay you the 40." His eyes got so big it wasn't even funny. He's like, "I'm going to make $40." I was like, "Yeah, you can make $40, but you got to understand, you got to do it the way they do it. I'll teach you how to do it, but yes, and you can do it every other week." So his words were, "You know what? I'm going to split the money with my best friend and we'll do it together." The bad makes you work harder. Amen, it does. So Cade already has a mind frame of how much am I going to get paid? How can I make this money the quickest, easiest way I can? In one hand, I'm actually proud of him because, being that young and thinking about the monetary side of things leads me to believe that hopefully one day he'll be smart enough to have his own company, make his own money, do his own thing. And who knows, maybe he won't own his own company. Maybe he'll work for somebody, but he'll be the top dog one day because he thinks about what he's doing. Now, the reason I told you about that story was because there's hard work involved in doing my yard. It's hot, it's sweaty, you're pushing a mower, it's not self-driven, it's gasoline, but you got to push it. So I already know in advance when he starts doing it, it's probably not going to go real good the first two or three times. Hell, it may not go good the first 5 times, 10 times, but he's going to be doing it and he's going to do it correctly or he won't get paid. And it's going to be just straightforward. Here's the deal. Here's the yard. Here's the way they do it. You make it look this way. I'll teach you how to make it look this way. You do that, I'll pay you the money. Teaching kids how to make money seems very, very hard. It's not hard to teach them how to make the money. It's hard to teach them how to get out there and want to make the money. As an adult, I have friends own their businesses, myself, my son, a whole lot of people I know. You're going to have the bad days when you question, man, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? This is too hard. I don't make enough money. I could probably make more money working at Buc-ee's, and you probably could. But on those good days where you're really making money and you're happy because you're doing what you want to do with your own two hands, how are you going to give that up? Get you a group of friends, talk about it, discuss it, get a plan together. If your plan falls apart, start over, come up with another plan. Who cares? You can fail 9 times out of 10 as long as you win one time out of those 10. And it's going to be worth it. It's going to work. Just like me, I have so much I want to tell you guys. I can't tell you guys until December. So you got what? May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. You got 8 months to wait. And in 8 months, I'm going to tell you guys a really, really good story. So keep following the page, keep following the shows, and you're going to hear a great story in 8 months. On to the biker build off or the bagger build off. I am getting so lucky to get to see what guys are doing, what they're putting together. And I'm going to tell you guys what, this is going to be so cool and so impressive when we all go to Galveston in November, the beginning of November, and we get to see all these bikes that these guys have created. I'm telling you what, man, it's going to be badass. It's just going to be totally badass. I cannot wait to see some of these bikes get done. I know what they're building. I know what they're doing. Everybody could be lying to me. Let me say that right now. Everybody could be lying to me about what they're building and what they've shown me. But if they're not, and they're staying true to what they're actually telling me, these are going to be some monumental, awesome built motorcycles. And I'm just telling you that I'm so excited. And I'm excited for all the people that are actually in it. All 8 shops that are actually in this building it. These guys are good. And I'm telling you, man, they're putting a lot of heart and soul and blood, sweat, and tears into what they're building. So much creativity. I'm honored that they're all doing it under the grind. I just think it's going to be really good. But anyway, I don't want to keep rambling. All you guys go have a great Thursday night, man, and we will see you guys back here next week. I am trying to round up the wet kittens to get somebody to do another interview. So we will be having, they need to start posting that shit and doing update videos. I agree, Brian. We'll even put that on the screen. But I'm trying to get them to do their interviews so that we can start talking to people. I know everybody is really interested in hearing from the other builders, hear what they got going on and everything. We've already done Val. We've already done Derek, which we will get more updates from Val and Derek also, but we need to hear from the other builders too. But anyway, you guys, please share the videos. Go to the YouTube channel. It's all the same. The Grind Biker Build Off on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell to get the notifications. Leave some comments. Share it to your friends, man. It can't do anything but help the show grow. But anyway, you guys go have a great Thursday night, and we will see you all back here next Thursday night, same time.